Welcome to Short Scale Modelling. For my next build I'm going to be building this Hobby Boss French Submarine Surcouf. I think that's how you pronounce it. The scale is 1/350. It's quite a small scale for a sub. Average, I should say. There's a lot bigger scales like the 172 and whatnot. So we'll just go through the instructions. Again, very basic instruction panels here. You have the tray line. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sprues, with the fourth being the photo etch. Comes with a few little decals and a stand. And as you can see, it's a simple build. The two main halves together, the top, the props and sundries. And then that's your next page, and that's it for the actual instructions. So not a great deal. So the actual parts, have to forgive me on this old bit of tissue here. I've just sprayed this, so I'm waiting for it to dry. That's stand, and we have the part sprue here. We have the little parts for the props and things. Then we have the main body, which is there, so you can get see the size of it there. And if you think a 1/350 ship, it should be about that size, you know. So it's going to be a fun little build, I think. It's only going to take me a day of that to build. And here's the painting guide. So I forgot to show you the photo etch. That's just the railings for the top of the sub, and of course little decals, just the French ship markings. Right, so there's no time like the present, so we'll get on to this build. Okay, so the first thing to do is to take them off the spray, of course. Then clean up any little burrs and things you got just by using a hobby knife or a piece of sanding paper. I use both. Then after that, it will be a case of masking it off for the waterline, which you can see on the paint colour there, from the reddy brown up to the grey. And I'll be using 6mm Tamiya masking tape for that. Okay, that's the tape on, so it's time to bond together, make it easier for painting. And because I'm using the tape before I bond it together, just make sure that nothing is overlapping inside the seam. It can be very difficult to get off otherwise. I'm using Revell's cement here, as you can see. So once you put the two halves together, just check to see whether you need to have any clamps on. In this case I just needed a couple to go on. So now it's all dry. I started building the prop shafts and rudder. The rudder I've already placed in, so I'm just placing the prop shafts now into the holes. They went in rather easily. The pylons that hold the actual props, though, there was no retaining marks on the kit for them, so be careful where to put them. I did get it slightly wrong. I only found out later on in the build when I was putting on the fins. So now the painting. This is a Revell Aqua Color 331, which is a purple red. That's my go-to colour for all hull shapes that require a red bottom. So while the first coat of the hull is drying, I'm moving on to the part sprue. I'm painting the props now. That's in Gold Leaf X12 from Tamiya. The majority of the sprue will be painted in Revell's Aqua Color 371, which is a light grey. And for the darker greys, is calling for a sort of bluey grey, so I decided to go for Tamiya's Field Blue, which is XF50. So that's the Tamiya XF50 going on now onto the deck plate. So it's just the second coat now, or the hull, as you can see going on. I'm moving on to the command deck now, and this is actually a two-tone colour with the dark grey and the light grey. So I'm just using a little bit of masking tape to see where I'm going to be painting. So I'm going on to the little plane that comes with the kit. This is on clear plastic, don't know why that is. I'm working mostly on the sprue here. So I'm painting on the sprue and I'm going to sub-assembly on the sprue as well. This is just for ease of holding the parts while building, because they are so small. I'll just say I don't recommend this technique for everyone. Only do this if you're 100% sure how things go. And make sure you have enough room on the sprue to build. It is a fantastic way to build if it's a small part, but it can mess up very quickly as well. Now on to painting the little plane. This is just a simple coat of Tamiya's Sky Blue X14, and that goes all over the little plane. Moving over to the base of the stand now, and that's getting painted in Tamiya's X12 Gold Leaf. Back to the main hull. I've masked off my second line marking, so this is for the black watermark that goes on the midships around the hull. And as you can see, the paint just curls around on top. So just taking the masking tape off here. I did get a little bit of paint bleed, nothing major though. So now just applying the light grey paint to the top half of the hull. And it's the same process with the hull with the command tower. So the light green is just going on now. So back to the main hull, I noticed I made a slight mistake on the painting at the top. So the light grey that I put on, I had to take off and reapply some of the darker colour. I just misstepped on the instructions. So it's time to put on the props now. So I'm just cutting them off, putting them onto the shaft. Then I'll be moving on to the base, getting that assembled. Now working on the top half, it's time to put in the upper fins and then to put in the top deck. So that's the top on, and now it's onto the base. Some people put this on at the end. I put it on now. Just gives a good steady platform to build the rest of the kit. Moving on to the command tower now. This was a delicate little part of the build, dealing with little parts inside the actual main structure as well as some photo etch parts, which we'll get onto in a second. So on this command tower, I'm just painting the little areas that need to be the darker grey, and then it's moving on to the photo etch and painting all these in the light grey colour before I put them on. To bond the tower was again straightforward, just small. Pay attention to the actual lines that you are going to be bonding on, because it's easy to go off on something so small. once you got together, check for the fit for the front part where the main guns go. There's only one way to put it on, but if you get it the wrong angle, it looks like it won't fit. So photo etch parts, just cutting them off the sprue using a new blade, a nice sharp blade. Then there'll be, this is the ladders, and railing and putting in on the upper main turret there. Make sure they are nice and clean when they come off the sprue, and I'm using a super glue to attach them. Now those parts are tiny, and you can bend them with a bending tool, but for these are so small, I just put them on the edge of my tweezers and turn them over until the desired angle. That's the last of the photo etch parts going in now on the top half of the command turret. Now for the little cannons that go on and aerials, as well as the handrails from the photo etch parts. That's the last of the railings going on now. And moving on to the main furniture on the top deck, and just little bits and pieces, aerials, cranes and things like that. Now that's the command tower built, it's time to attach it to the kit. And it's back to the photo etch parts now, and putting on the railings for the side of the sub now. These were straightforward to put on, a little bit tricky in some places, as they normally are, but once you get the hang of them, they're okay to put on. And the last of the railings going on there. So the kit is coming along really well. So going on to the little plane now, putting the decals on. I did notice when I was putting the decals on that the side registration markings were way too big for this little plane, so I wrapped them around a little bit. So I'm just finishing up the decals now for the plane. Then it's on to the name plaque. So on the nameplate, I'm just darkening up the letters using a little marker pen, which is a very fine tip, 0.2 tip on it, just for the letters to stand out. I'm putting the nameplate in place, again attached with some super glue. Now that the nameplate's on, it's time to bring my attention to the weathering. I'm using Tamiya's weathering powders here, and I'm using master set B for rust and D for oil stains, and it's just a simple case of putting the pigment onto your preferred applicator. This is using a sharp brush, which is just a thin piece of foam at the end of a brush, and then just applying it. Well, that's going to bring this build to the end. The kit itself is really good to do. I would recommend it for all levels of skill. There's not much to put in the kit as such, but the results are quite good once it's been made up. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who watched, and feel free to watch my other builds on my channel, and until the next time, bye.